All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I'm Is There No One Else? And the video I'm bringing you today, we are going to do a gear set review for the Waking Flame PTS. Now, for those of you that don't know, the new patch notes dropped on Monday. This is my first day on the PTS, looking at some gear sets. For those of you guys that have been on the channel for a while, let me explain what these gear set reviews are, because I didn't do them this last patch. What I like to do is I like to go on the PTS and I like to look at different gear sets and see, do some tests on them, show you guys what they do, show you guys what the benefits are, give you guys my kind of thoughts, because I think it helps. I think it helps. For a while, I did not have access to the PTS because I was just on console specifically. Now that I have access to it on PC, I'm able to go in here and test some things, and it saves you time. There's few things in this game more annoying in general than farming for something that you find out that you're not going to use. And so this is designed to save you guys time, designed to save you guys lots of farming for sets that you may not like. And yeah, and these are just my thoughts. I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again. But yeah, this will give you my point of view, and you can either agree with me or not. Maybe I'm missing something, and maybe you'll come out with some OP build and set the meta yourself. But yeah, that's what these videos are, just to help you guys out. And if you guys have any questions or comments, sets you'd like to see, let me know. There's always stuff that I miss, but we are going to dive into Sabatons of Crimson Oath. Now this is this is a heavy armor set that I think you get from the dungeons. I forget which dungeon it is, but let's dive into it. 2-piece armor, 3-piece max health, 4-piece armor, 5-piece when you use an ability that applies a major or minor buff to yourself or an ally, send out a wave of energy that reduces the armor of nearby enemies within 12 meters by 35-41 for 15 seconds. This effect can occur once every 12 seconds and will only occur if an enemy is within range. So when I'm looking at this, like, talked about this a lot in my Discord, in general, you're kind of limited with back bar sets. If you want back bar damage sets, it's basically Clever Alchemist, Essence Thief, Powerful Assault. I mean, I know there's some more, but those are typically like the better ones, as well as procs. If you're looking at back bar defensive sets, it's basically Daedric Trickery. As far as like a back bar set, this is a back bar offensive set that has 2 armor slots. And so when I'm looking at this, it's not a major or minor buff. You're debuffing the enemy's armor by 35-41. This is Spriggan's. This is more than Spriggan's level penetration. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, penetration typically yields you more damage in this game than weapon damage does, because as people's resistances get higher, the penetration just becomes more and more valuable. And so if you're in a pariah meta, like we currently are, sets that give you penetration will just typically be better than high weapon damage sets. Now there's this give and take, right? Penetration versus weapon damage. Weapon damage not only gives you damage, but it also boosts your heals. Penetration is just, you know, more damage. And so it's this give take. But this is a lot. Like the 2, 3, and 4 piece is fantastic. You can back bar it, and it also buffs your group. And so when I'm looking at this looks like a solid group for group play PvP. Somebody in your group can run this, and it's a major or minor buff. So if you have a major armor buff and you activate it on your back bar, which you're going to basically every 10 to 12 seconds, whatever the cooldown is on whatever class you are, you're going to be able to apply this. If you're a Templar, you put your rune down, or you put down your Purify, getting your minor mending, you're going to get this. If you're a Dragon Knight, volatile armor, you're going to get this. What else? Major minor buff. If you're a warden, you're healing and you give them major mending if they drop to lower health. Now that only applies to you. So if you give yourself, I don't know, actually that's a passive. I don't know if the passives work, and I want to explain why. I'm not going to go through all the classes. I'm actually on a Nightblade, but for those of you guys that don't know, those of you guys that aren't involved in the Nightblade class in general, Shadow Barrier gives you, every time you activate a Shadow Barrier, you get major resolve. So it increases your physical and spell resistance by 59-48. So if we have Shadowy Disguise on our bar, we will get major resolve, but it does not activate the set. And so you see, even though we have it, it's not activating the set. Let me make sure. See, so we're not getting the buff. So what we're gonna have to do is we'll check another buff. So what we have is we have the heavy armor skill Unstoppable. So Unstoppable, unmorphed. I don't run this skill, but this also gives us Major Resolve, increasing our physical and spell resistance by 59.48 for 20 seconds. So when we activate this, you see the big flash wave, you see the debuff. So hopefully this debuff should apply with your teammates also, so your teammates should be able to see it. Yeah, I mean, the cooldown's fantastic. As you guys can see, it lasts for 15 seconds, and it can occur once every 12 seconds. So as long as they're within, what did it say, 12 meters? 12 meters. So as long as they're within 12 meters of you, and you activate this debuff, like everybody that you're kind of fighting in the same area outside of basically snipers, you're going to be able to activate this and you're going to debuff your enemy. Now, the cons of this is it is a debuff, so it probably can be purged. So there is cons to it in that regard, and there are a lot of purges in the game, but overall, I mean, this is another form of penetration that you don't, it's not major, like I said, it's not major or minor fracture, and it can be backbarred. And so this looks like a pretty interesting set. It looks like a pretty interesting overall set, especially in group play. Now, to me, it's going to come down to what the meta is. Now, if you look at our current meta in Blackwood, it's very bursty. Obviously, gankers are running around like crazy, bombers are running around. As a solo player, I wouldn't really utilize this set because I need more tankiness. You know, I'm just like everybody else. I'm in Pariah or Daedric Trickery or maybe both, because yeah, depending on the class, sometimes you just need to be super tanky now, and damage is easier to come by than mitigation is in the current Blackwood patch. Now, what they are doing so far in week 1 of the PTS is they have given us 25% more mitigation. So it was 44% damage mit through Battle Spirit, and now it's 55%. So it's an 11% change, 25%. You're going to naturally take 25% less damage next patch so far, which in my opinion, personally, is too much. I like the higher damage metas. I get that a lot of people believe that Blackwood is a little bit too high. I'd like to see a middle ground, you know, somewhere between 25, so, you know, somewhere around 10, maybe 11%. Test that for a couple weeks on the PTS. But yeah, I understand why it needs to be less tanky, but I think 25% is way too much. And so, but the thing is if we do stick with the 25% and people are naturally this much more tanky, you probably don't need as many damage mitigation sets. You could probably go full damage sets. And in that case, if you're looking at this set where you can backbar this, run jewelry and a bow or a sword and board or whatever, because it doesn't have to be on both bars, and you can fit a mythic and then a front bar Titanborn or a proc set. Like, I'd probably go like Titanborn personally, but like those sorts of things, you get some armor, you get a really nice pen debuff, and yeah, away you go. You just kind of stack damage. Now, the uptime on this is fantastic, obviously. Like, yeah, it's really going to depend on the meta. So I think this set's solid. I really do. I think this set is a solid set, but it's really going to depend on the groups that you're in. If you're running in a 5, 6, 7, 8 man group, why wouldn't you have somebody run this, in my opinion? You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you take advantage of this natural 3500 debuff just so you can wipe large groups of players? Somebody applies an armor buff, you go around a corner, everybody's running up a door at you, somebody applies an armor buff, and you get this shockwave that comes out. And so literally everybody has this debuff. You drop your sub Donnies, whatever, spin to wins, and yeah, they're not going to recover. It's going to be really tough to recover when you're adding this much extra pen on the back bar. So yeah, I'm going to end this video here. I'm going to continue to go through sets. Like I said in the patch note review, there's a lot of interesting sets this patch. There's a lot of different variety. Oh, even if we buff Rally. See that? If we buff Rally, we give ourselves Major Brutality, we also get the buff. So makes sense. So we could front bar the set also. But yeah, I'm going to go through all the different sets. I'm going to provide my point of view. This set's going to come down to what the meta is. If it's currently the way it is in Blackwood, I probably personally won't run it unless I'm in a group. If it's the way it currently is on week 1 of the PTS, I would consider it. I'd consider getting somebody in my group to run this because I think it's that good. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know your guys' thoughts. That's going to be the end of this video. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.